With the Wasabi Fenway Bowl being Bronco Mendenhall's last game coaching for the UVA Cavaliers, where will UVA go from here?
So after Bronco Mendenhall resigned as head coach, Tucker, where do you think that leaves UVA football?
Well, for UVA, they have to figure out the defensive part first. The offense was one of the tops in the country. Depending on where the staff lands with this, whether they lose Robert and I and more people on the staff, it should realistically be the same team. On one hand, you're losing three of your top players with Noah Taylor going on transfer portal along with Olusegun Oluwatimi and Bobby Haskins. So that's going to be a big issue, along with all the recruits that they have lost over the past couple of weeks with the news. For starters, they went with Anthony Poindexter from Penn State, who has had a couple of stints elsewhere. He started with UConn. UConn's football team hasn't been the greatest. They were okay with him. They went 6-7 one year, and they went to a bowl game with him being the defense coordinator. Along with that, Purdue, his first year, they were great. They went from giving up over 30 points per game, and then they were down to 21 in his first year. But after that, the defense kind of was shattered after that. And then he came to Penn State. His first year, Jaquan Brisker and Jair Brown, both really good safeties. They were named to first team All Big Ten and third team All Big Ten. UVA had to field the rejection from Anthony Poindexter, and now their focus is on Tony Elliott. So depending on where that lands, that could be the next head coach. I could see it possibly as long as he chooses UVA over staying at Clemson or going to Duke. So, Duncan, what do you think?
I think for me, the biggest question is recruiting. Bronco Mendenhall staff has not done a great job recruiting at UVA, particularly in the state of Virginia. In the ACC, Virginia is yet to finish in the top 5 in Bronco Mendenhall's tenure as head coach, including not a top 30 finish in the ACC. And also, if you look at the class of 2022, 5 of the top 8 recruits are going to the University of North Carolina, which is a big problem for UVA. So I think a priority for the Cavaliers should be to hire a head coach who can recruit in the state of Virginia. And a couple of candidates, as you mentioned, Tony Elliott, offensive coordinator from Clemson. He's been the play caller there since 2015, has led the team to 2 national championships. He won the Broyles Award in 2017 for the nation's top assistant coach and is known to be an excellent recruiter.
It's pretty interesting, though, how UVA is currently going after a bunch of offensive coordinators and not defense coordinators. I mean, we saw that this offense is capable of putting up big numbers against any opponent. Defense, on the other hand, was exposed throughout for most of the season. I mean, Nick Jackson was the only player named to the All-ACC teams and any honorable mentions. I mean, but UVA's offense, they had a bunch of players on the All-ACC teams, along with some injuries still that we didn't even get to see. You know, receiver Lavelle Davis was supposed to be a big threat player, and he was out the entire year, and Dontavian Wicks took over his spot for the most part. But that could have been a great piece to add to that offense. The defense had little to no effect on any of the games for most of the season, besides the first couple of weeks when they trounced William Mary and they destroyed Illinois. I mean, that was it. So, I mean, they have to get – if the head coach is going to be offensive mind, then the defense coordinator has to put more effort into these defensive players.
I completely agree, and that goes back to recruiting. We have not been recruiting the best defensive players, and also I think the lack of development from defensive players, particularly in the secondary and then the defensive line. I mean, UVA this year could not stop the run in any way and was also really bad against the pass. So either way, if they choose to hire an offensive coordinator as head coach from Michigan or Clemson or whomever, defense needs to be a priority going forward for the Cavaliers.
So, Duncan, putting the head coaching search behind us, what do you think about this bowl game that UVA will play against SMU?
I think it'll be a very high-scoring affair as SMU is one of the best offenses in the country. They average 38 points per game, with Tanner Mordecai, Oklahoma transfer, leading the way at quarterback. He's done 39 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I think the key for UVA will be depending on who plays in the game. Does Brennan Armstrong play in the game? Who's transferring? Who's not? Who's actually playing? That'll be the key for the game, but I would expect a very high-scoring game with neither team's defense being all that great.
Yeah, I agree with that. The issue, like you said, we don't know who's really going to play in this game. This has as many question marks as the head coaching search itself. So we have no idea who will be there by the time the bowl game rolls around. I mean, we didn't think that those 3 would be transferring out already, and they very well might not come back. So that's going to be the main issue. I think right now, if everybody is still there and plays against SMU. I think UVA will pull this one out, even with the defensive issues. I mean, the offense is still one of the top in the nation, led by Brennan Armstrong. SMU, they have their own question marks. You know, Coach Sonny Dykes, he left to go to TCU. He probably will not coach in the bowl game, so that could be an issue for them as well. Just too many question marks. I think UVA will pull it out in a close one, though.
I agree. I think UVA will win as well. My score prediction, 45-42, Virginia, high-scoring game.
UVA currently still has major question marks for their football team, but hopefully within the next couple of weeks, they will have more clarity. I'm Tucker Myers.
I'm Duncan McGrath.
Thank you for watching.